Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Another 50-point War Machine Hordes battle. Battle report number 4 for the whole War Machine Horde side. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of Cygnar, versus Death, Holy Death of Skorne. And I know you're asking, why are you only playing Death, Holy Death, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm learning. I'm getting these games in against somebody who knows what they're doing. As of this battle report, I finally do own a War Machine book, and I'm studying it, but I don't have the rules down and everything like that. So my main opponent is Death Holy Death. I do have a battle report. It'll actually be battle report number 5 coming out where I play against the Protectorate, the Menoth people, and that's a really good game too. But in this one, you can tell it's starting to click. I do much better in this one, and I'm not going to tell you whether or not I win or lose. I'm not going to say it, but this is actually a really good report, and it shows much progress on my side. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see how this one goes.
Are you ready for a war?
Here's my army, and there's been some changes. As you can see, I have Commander Adept Nemo. He is my main warcaster. He's got a Sentinel, a Defender, and a Centurion attached to him. I also gave him a Squire. What is a Squire, you might ask? Well, some of you already know and probably don't need me to explain it. But those that don't, if you attach a Squire to your Warcaster, it can't be to the baby caster, it has to be to the Warcaster. And I attach it, obviously, to Nemo. And what it can do, if it's within 5 inches of him, it ups his command zone by 2 inches. So Nemo's already a 14 because his focus is 7. With the Squire attached to him, it is a 16. And I know 2 inches doesn't seem like a lot, but just like I tell my wife all the time, 2 inches is huge. You can also during your activation of Nemo, or I'm sorry, not at the beginning of your turn, you can, if you look at the Squire card, you can see 3 little white dots there. You can fill one of those in and give him an extra focus. So Nemo, 3 times a game, will have a minimum of 8 focus, which is worth every point of the 2 points I have to spend to put that on him. So I saw the card, I have the model, and I decided, why in the name of all that is holy am I not using that? So yeah, I did that. I put the Sentinel out there because the Sentinel's got this cool ability where he can do like a strafe. Basically, he takes D6 shots at stuff. Really good for cleaning out infantry, which is something that I'm lacking. And at range 10, he's not terrible. Then, of course, I have the Defender just because he's awesome. And I have the Centurion because I like him for defense. But I haven't decided whether or not I'm actually going to keep him or not. Nothing against the model or anything. I actually like the model a lot. I just don't know if it fits into the whole scheme of what I'm going for. It's kind of expensive, and there's other mechs out there. He's definitely going to be replaced with a Jack if I do replace him. I just don't know which one yet. And for the amount of points he's worth, I really haven't had the Centurion pull his weight. So we'll see. We'll see. Here's the rest of my army, and of course I have the baby caster there, and he's got a hunter and a Hammersmith attached to him, and I did that for 2 reasons. One, I love the hunter. The hunter is really, really cool. The Hammersmith, I put him in the list, I put him on the baby caster because his ability, if he hits with both of his hammers, he gets this automatic 3rd hit that does a truckload of damage, and then knocks whatever it is I've hit D6 inches backwards, which is really, 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 really cool. So I brought the Hammersmith because I'm going to use the hunter attached to the baby caster for as long as I can. And then when things get too close, I throw the focus on the Hammersmith, send him in, and just boost his hits. Not so much his damage, but his hits. Have the hammer guy hit with both of his hammer attacks, and then hopefully with the 3rd attack, he hits and then is able to, maybe if I'm lucky. So I boost the 1st attack, boost the 2nd attack, and then boost the 3rd attack's damage, and I should be able to drop Juggernauts with that. That's the theory in my head. As for practice, I don't know yet. Of course, I have my Arcane Tempest gun mages. I have a gun mage captain adept because I'm trying a little solo character because I did like the Stormcaller, and as you can see, he's still in the list. So I figured I'd try the gun captain adept. He's got this weird shot where it's only 10 inches, but he ignores line of sight. So I could be behind, a rock or whatever and still hit you as long as you're within 10 inches, which might be useful, and it also might suck. I don't know yet. Then, of course, I took Sword Knights. I wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted a chaff unit, for lack of a better way to put it. And I have these guys. I have these models. They look kind of cool, so I wanted to try them out. And that's what I did. I have a unit of Sword Knights, and they have the Sword Knight Officer and Standard with them. And I'm just trying out different infantry units until I find one that I like. That's all. Here's Death's list, and it's exactly what it looks like. And I think his warlock for this one is Lord Arbiter Hexerus. In the last battle report, somebody asked me if I would at least point out his warcaster, or warlock in this case, and I did think that's a good idea, and so I am trying to point that out. He has Lord Arbiter Hexerus, I think that's how you say it. As for the rest of his stuff, I kind of am starting to get familiar with what they are, but not well enough to be like, oh, and there's this guy, or what a putz for taking that. I have no idea. So, and here's the rest of his army. Here's deployment, and I'm starting to clump my stuff up a little bit better. I have my officer gun mage and my storm smith way over to the right there. Their idea is they're going to hang out in the ruins and use it for cover and use it to take pot shots at anything that comes close. I have my gun mages on the left flank there, and their plan is to get up onto that hill, because actually, if you're on a hill, you get +2 defense for having elevation to anything that's not on a hill, of course. I know it's dangerous because there's a lot of war beasts on that side, but I figured if the war beasts waste time going after the gun mages, that gives my warjacks a chance to really tear them up. Then, of course, I have 4 of my warjacks in the center, and as you can see, I've started to paint. I am not the greatest painter in the world. In fact, I'm a very subpar painter, but I am painting, and it's better than gray and black and silver. And I like the yellow and the blue. I do. I wish I had painted better, and yes, usually my wife does paint for me, but she's really, really busy with her store, so I have to do it myself, so I apologize for the eyesores, but I like them. And I have my hunter, my sentinel, my centurion, and my Hammersmith over there in the middle. The baby caster is behind his Hammersmith and his hunter. Nemo is behind the sword guys with their attachment with his little squire next to him. The defender is over there near the ruins, and the defender is over there simply because I wanted him to kind of give a little cover just in case Death has some weird trick up his sleeves. I didn't want all my eggs in one basket with all 5 jacks in the middle. The fact that I have 5 jacks is really, really exciting. I'm trying to figure out how to get a 6th. And I've heard something where you can attach jacks to units, and they get those units' abilities. Mr. Malorian, I believe, is the one that said I should attach the hunter to the gun mages. The idea that that's even possible excites me like Christmas Eve, okay? So there might be some serious changes coming up. But that's why I deployed the way I did. I have no idea why Death deployed the way he did, but you'll see how well it works out. Here's Death's right flank with pretty much all of his jacks just kind of piled up in the middle there. And here's his center. From left to right, those, again, I don't remember. Those are the dual-wielding psychopaths that always give me trouble. The guys on the right, they shoot, and then they fall back. That's really all I know about them. And they have the officer and the banner attachment to them as well. And his left flank just consists of this crazy character on a tiger that's just as pissed off as he is. It's a really cool model, and you'll see what he does later. Here's my right flank, which consists of my Stormsmith, my Gun Mage Officer, and my Defender. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my Sword Knights with Banner and Officer, Nemo with his Squire. I know it's the wrong model for Nemo, but I don't own a Nemo model yet, so I'm just using this bagpipe-looking guy. Then I've got, I believe that is my Sentinel, my Centurion, my Hammersmith, and my Hunter, and behind them is my Baby Caster. And my left flank, which consists of 6 Gun Mages. Death goes first, and he starts off by moving his stuff up. And he told me why, but I don't remember exactly. He does something to this little guy in the back there, and in order to move him, he has to declare a charge. Well, he charged the big elephant guy in the butt. And since he charged him and he made it, he had to attack him, and he did, and he ended up doing 2 points of damage to the big elephant guy, which I think is hilarious. But that was pretty much it. As you can see, he moves his stuff up towards the forest. His dual-wielding Psychopaths came up. He's going to stick his gun guys into the forest, which is why I believe the unpainted models are heading towards the forest. His beasts and stuff all came up, but he's staying very clumped together and stuff like that because, you know, he's trying to stay in his control arc for all of his warcasters. So I have a big knot of pain to deal with. But that's what it looks like at the end of turn 1. During my turn, as you can see, I'm learning. I used a lot of Nemo's abilities and spells, as well as the baby caster spells, in order to make my guys survive long enough to actually do something when combat comes around. I didn't really know what to do with the whole movement phase. I wasn't really sure if I should move up, if I should hold back. The way it looked, Skorne had to come at me, so why move? I was able to get Arcane Shield off on my Hunter. And Arcane Shield gives you +3 armor, so basically I just cut any damage he does to my Hunter by 3, which is awesome. Excuse me. I electrified my Centurion, and basically if he gets hit by a melee attack, you bounce off of him like D3 inches or D6 inches, and that's pretty cool. And then I have Deflect, which, if I'm not mistaken, I am able to up either their defense or armor against any kind of a ranged attack. Also, since my baby caster cast a spell within 16 inches of Nemo, Nemo gets a little focus token, that little power token right over there, which he can turn into focus during my next turn, and he can get up to 3 of those for anybody who casts a spell within 16 inches of him. So that's a huge cool ability and helps me get that extra focus to give to my jacks. Here's what the turn looks like, or what the board looks like at the end of turn 1. As you see, my Gun Mage and my Stormsmith have gone into the ruins. Nothing's in range yet, but they're getting there. My Defender moved up to take a pot shot at stuff that comes up next turn. The Sword guys, the Knights, I left them right where they were because I honestly didn't know where to put them. I didn't know where to go with them. There was really nothing to screen or flank or anything like that, so I decided, hey, when in doubt, stay put and see what happens. My Jacks moved up slightly. My Centurion, of course, has Polarity Shield off, which means he can't be charged in the front. And my Gun Mage has decided that now is not the time to jump up on the hill and to hang back and see where Death goes next turn. So Death's turn kicks off, and one of his Juggernaut guys has this big cannon thing, and he fires it at my Hunter, and he hits, and he's able to do just 1 point of damage to him thanks to Arcane Shield. Had Arcane Shield not been up, he would have done a full 4 wounds to me, but instead he only did 1 to my 6. So instead of having, you know, 4 points of damage taken off this guy, it was only 1, and I'm very proud of myself because, yay, Arcane Shield, I'm learning. That's it, though. He wasn't able to do anything else. The guys in the forest moved up, shot, weren't able to do anything because of Deflect, and backed off, which was really, really cool. And his little two-handed dual-wielding Psychopaths moved up, and that's not good. I need to deal with them. But his War Beasts, for the most part, held back. And I don't know why they're holding back. I don't understand what he's doing. Usually he just kind of throws them forward. But I think he was also a little shocked at my maneuvers. So kind of exciting, kind of neat, but we'll see. During my phase, my Gun Mages jump up, and maybe I should have shot at the dual-wielding guys, but I decided to shoot at the big samurai-looking guy. And I did the critical hit thing, so if I roll a crit, which is doubles on my roll to hit, as long as I hit, it's critical damage. I basically get to boost my damage. Instead of 10 plus 2d6, it's 3d6 plus 10, which is really, really nice. And as you can see, I was able to put like 6 points of damage onto the samurai guy. Not enough to actually kill him or damage anything of significance, but putting 6 points of damage on this thing, just, you know, with my Gun Mages was really, really exciting. So I was happy about that. Then over here, Nemo. Oh my, did I find a spell I like? Chain Lightning. It hits the target, and then it hits D6 models within 4 inches of him after that. The closest model. Remember, I'm saying model, not enemy model, model. Luckily for me, the closest within 4 inches of the model after the first were all his dual wielding guys. And as you can see, there are like 5 or 6 less than there were before. Did really, really well. They do pass their command check, so that was something. But I was very excited about that spell and the fact that it went off and was so incredibly potent. So I really like Chain Lightning. It's a very cool spell. I highly recommend using it if you play Nemo. So here's what the board looks like at the end of my turn 2. My defender came up and took a pot shot at one of the dual wielding guys, and I believe I missed. My knights came up to screen. I didn't expect them to do anything good. I just wanted them to screen. I wasn't sure if he was going to send in a war beast or not, but if he did, I put my knights up to screen that, and then I have my centurion in the back ready to countercharge whatever is coming up. I don't think death is that stupid. I really, really don't. But I'm trying to make him think. I'm trying to make him make a mistake so I can capitalize on it. I also half expected him to send a war beast or something into the gun mages. If you notice, my Hammersmith moved up slightly and is cocked slightly to the left so he can charge or advance or whatever, everything that's on anything that might be on the hill. My hunter took a pot shot at the samurai guy and missed, which was unfortunate. And yeah, that's really about it. The sentinel moved up, but he really didn't have anything to do. And I left my gun mage officer and the stormsmith in the ruins because the guys in the forest, if I brought them out, would just obliterate those guys. So it was kind of a standoff. I was keeping his guys in the forest, although they're able to bounce up, shoot, and fall back. But at the same time, they're not going to come out of the forest because my gun mage and my stormsmith will open up on him, which would be cool. So it's kind of a stalemate. I'm losing 2 models, but he's kind of got a unit held back now. So he's got the advantage, I know, but it's something. I'll take it. So we go into Death's turn, and his dual-wielding Psychopaths go right into the Knights, and the Knights, even with +2 to their armor, they all die. It's pretty bad. He buffs these guys up, and then they get 2 attacks each, and they're just brutal. Just really, really brutal. And they made it in the Knights and killed all of them, except for the banner and the unit attachment. So, unfortunate. Then over here, the gun guys moved up, fired away at my defender, and they can do a combined shot, and I didn't know that. But they jump up, they shoot at my defender, and they blow off his hammer, which could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. It didn't take out my gun, which is what I really, really, want working well on this guy. But they did blow up my hammer, so it's not like I can't get the attack with him. But now instead of rolling 2d6 to hit and wound, I only roll 1. So it's really hard to hurt anything now. So that's unfortunate. And then Death introduces me to a new spell called the Black Spot, which I started laughing about because I immediately thought of Pirates of the Caribbean. And I was like, I need a jar of dirt! And I couldn't have been more right. He moves his little, well, not little, but the big triumphant-looking elephant there, and he casts a spell through the elephant onto the gun mages, which I wasn't aware was a thing. Apparently, you can use your beasts and even certain jacks and stuff like that as like a focal point for spells. I had no idea that was a thing. So, not that Holy Death hasn't told me about that, but I've forgotten a lot because I'm not very good at this game yet. So, I had no idea that was even a thing. Like I said, I'm sure he told me. It's not Holy Death's fault. He's not trying to, like, screw me or anything like that. I just forget because, my memory's not that great. But he fires off this spell, and he hits my gun mages and kills 3 of them, which, sucks enough as it is. However, the Black Spot says whenever you hit with a melee or range attack, you get to immediately make that same attack again on a legal target. So, thank you, Black Spot. He fires it off at the surviving 2 gun mages and kills both of them, leaving only the leader left, which means he needs a command check, and he rolls an 11, so the gun mage leader is done. He's going to flee next turn, which, again, when you fail a command check, you don't have to actually flee. You can choose to flee 0, and he just cowers there. Bottom line is that unit's not doing anything next turn, but it's up to me whether or not he falls back. So here's what the table looks like at the end of turn 3. As you can see, the hill strategy is not working out. My sword knights are very, very dead. His gun guys are still in the forest. His war beasts, for the most part, are hanging out right in the middle there. And the crazy tiger guy has made his way completely across the table. Well, from his left flank to his right flank, and is hanging out with the rest of the beasts. So it's about to get ugly really quick. So we go into my turn, and my defender takes a shot at the elephant guy with a cannon and does a decent amount of wounds to him. I think he does 6 to 8 wounds to him. I can't remember exactly how much, but I like to think that I blew off one of his tusks, so I feel pretty good about that. Then over here, unfortunately, I shot at these guys with something. I think it was the Sentinel. I can't remember exactly. It was only one shot, but I missed. And he has a spell off on these guys that when you shoot at them and miss, they get to advance. They get to charge or whatever. And they charged my Sword Knight officer and Standard Bearer, and they put 4 wounds on the officer and killed the Standard guy. So even when I miss, I'm helping these guys. Then over here, the gun mage officer plinks one guy out of the forest. He was close enough. I could shoot him, and I did, and I'm glad he's dead. But that was really about it. Other than that, there's what the rest of the table looks like. My officer, I believe, is... No, he's still up there. He's just hidden by the guy. I moved the Sentinel up a little bit. Not the Sentinel. The Hammersmith up a little bit. I charged. That's what I did. The Hammersmith charged into the dual-wielding guys and killed a couple of them off. More out of spite than anything tactical or intelligent. Maybe I should have left him back there, but I didn't. Nemo did not use a spell because he was upkeeping, and I wanted to divvy out my tokens elsewhere. I did get Arcane Shield off on my Hammersmith to give him +3 armor because I know he's being countercharged this turn. And it gave Nemo an extra focus, so that was kind of nice. But that's pretty much what I got left on the board, and it's starting to look bad for the home team. Yeah, then here, this psychopath on a kitty comes running over and slams into my Hammersmith, and he has a little something called Armorpiercing. Basically what it means on anything that's not the tiniest base, basically it cuts your armor in half, and then it applies its POW, its damage, strength, plus the power of the weapon. Oh, man, did he do a lot of damage to me. Even with Arcane Shield taking 3 points of damage off, which is good because it saved my movement, I lost my left arm. So he came over, tore my left arm off, and threw it on the ground. So that really sucks. But, you know, I did send him over there to see what could happen, and unfortunately, it was as awful as I thought. So we'll see what happens. Then over here, the Centurion gets shot at by the big elephant with a bazooka and takes 4 points of damage to the 1. Still effective, still working out, just it's hurting. And then my Hammersmith gets charged and by the big, or I'm sorry, it's a slam attack, which is like a charge, only basically you drop your shoulder and go. And he slammed into my Hammersmith, knocking him into my Centurion. After knocking him into my Centurion, the Hammersmith took a bunch of damage. The Centurion was actually fine. But yeah, my Hammersmith took a bunch more damage. I lost, well, as you can see, I lost my movement. I got knocked down. And he also knocked down my Centurion, so he's not going to be able to charge next turn like I need him to. It's all bad things. So that really sucks. And then, just due to probably ritual suicide, the last Stormblade dies, the Stormblade officer. And then, just for, you know, giggles, I don't remember exactly what it was, but someone fires at Nemo and does, what, 6 points of damage to him? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 points of damage, and that's bad. That's really, really bad. But there it is. There's what the board looks like at the end of Death's turn 4. Definitely on the back foot here. His dual-wielding Psychopaths tried to charge my baby caster and was just out of range. He was like an inch away as opposed to the half inch he needed to attack. So that was a little luck on my part. That would have sucked to lose the Hammersmith and the Hunter as well as the caster. But yeah, the guys in the forest came up, shot at the defender, but couldn't do anything and fell back, and the rest of his stuff just kind of stayed right where it was. So I activate the Hammersmith in my turn, and I use a focus. I give him a focus to stand up. Well, when he stood up, it counted as his movement. So the big, crazy standing up elephant guy was able to charge him due to some spell effect he had on him. I'm not exactly sure what it was. But when you complete a movement in his movement range, he can advance right at you. So he slams into the Hammersmith and rips him to pieces, which really sucks. So the Hammersmith dies before I can do anything. And so I activated my Centurion and decided to slam him into the big elephant guy, and I gave him a whole bunch of focus and stuff to do it, and unfortunately I rolled like pure butt. Rolled to hit beautifully, rolling to do damage, that was pitiful. In the end, I think I did like 12 points of damage to him out of 3 or 4 attacks. It was really, really negligible, really, really bad, and needless to say, it ain't gonna help me out at all in the end. But that was about it. My gun mage was able to come over and finish off the banner guy. He rallied last turn after he fell back, and he came forward his 6 inches and shot at the dual wielding banner bearer and killed him. My hunter charged the remaining guy and put him into the ground, so I did get that unit, which is nice, but that was really it. My sentinel tried, my defender tried to attack the kitty guy, but missed, and when he missed with an attack, the kitty got to move, so the kitty moved towards where Nemo was. I saw him do that, and so I had already activated Nemo, so I moved my scribe in the way. And again, I was thinking, old fantasy ways with movement. So I moved the scribe, thinking that the scribe was going to stop any charge that the tiger guy made. I forgot that he doesn't need to charge directly at the model. He just needs to get into the model. Yeah, I made a mistake. So I did move up my Stormsmith and my gun mage to shoot at the kitty, and I missed, or I wasn't able to do any damage to him, one of the two. And that's it. I'm grabbing at straws here. So we go into Death's turn, and I think an AoE, well, obviously an AoE fires. I don't remember from where, if it was a spell, if it was a shot, I just don't recall. But it goes way off course and ends up landing over the Centurion and the big, tall elephant guy. It doesn't do anything really. It does a little bit of damage to the elephant guy. The Centurion is perfectly fine, but that's it. It's just kind of funny. And then the big kitty guy charges into Nemo and rips him a new 3-hole. It's really bad. Nemo never had a chance. He is not meant for combat. But my Warcaster died due to my own negligence and inabilities, and there it is. There's the end of the game. It's unfortunate, but I did, in my opinion, and for the record, Death Holy Death agrees, I did a lot better. I still have a long way to go, but it's starting to click. I did a lot better. I held my own for a while. I made some good choices, not great. I'm starting to get how to move, how to work things, how to make my army work the way I want it to work, and what I have to do in order to see that happen. I started to use the caster's abilities and stuff, so I felt like I really took a large step forward in figuring out War Machine. And guys, I know I say it every single time, but just doing the battle report and talking over, I'm like, God, I want to play! So yes, War Machine is my heroine. But yes, I will leave you with that while we go to the ad real quick, because right now, this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Hey guys and gals, all you Wargamer nuts. Right here, we've got an ad for Token Gal. She makes tokens for every game system, every possible requirement, every need. If it's a war game, if it's a tabletop game, if it's a board game, if it's a card game, if you need tokens, wound counters, spell counters, afflictions, hexes, augments, anything at all, send her an email. Tell her what you need. Hell, if you want certain pictures put on there, tell her what pictures you're looking for. Not only will she find it and make it, but she will charge you, really, really fair prices. And I mean really fair. Don't take my word for it, though. Send her an email, tell her what you need, get yourself some tokens. You're not going to regret it. And tell her Tremendous sent you. So, yes, it was yet another defeat for Lord Tremendous. Nemo is now keeping the inside of that tiger's belly warm with his body. I ended up losing Nemo, my Hammersmith, my Sword Knights, and the Sword Knights officer with Standard. Death lost the Praetorian Swordsman. I'm pretty sure that's it. I suck. So I got something. Like I said, I know it doesn't look it, but I am getting coming to terms, understanding how this game works. This was, in my opinion, and Death's, a much better game for me. It is starting to make more sense. I am starting to make the right choices. Not the greatest choices. I still need to. You need to think a few more turns ahead than I do. A few more moves ahead. I'm having trouble grasping one unit at a time, moving, shooting, magicking, blah blah blah. The movement thing, especially like in the end with the scribe, thinking that I was going to be able to block the charge with the scribe like that. That was just a mistake. I should have, in retrospect, I should have charged the scribe up to be close to him so he couldn't run past him. Or not charge, but advanced, the full movement. It was a mistake. I'm supposed to be making them. That's what these games are for. So I'm just glad I'm getting them all out of the way because, But I feel like I held my own a lot longer in this one than I have in my previous 3 games. So it's exciting. It's nice to see, or at least feel, that I'm making some forward progress in my understanding of this game. Still got to remember to mind my surroundings. Placing Nemo where he was in the end was really stupid. There was no reason for it. He's got a friggin' command range of 16, 14 if he's too far away from the scribe, but that was really dumb. Never should have done that. But again, I've still got a lot to learn with this game, and I'm enjoying every single lesson I can get. Nemo's chain lightning ability is great. It's never going to do anything against like a jack or anything, but against infantry, totally devastating. Really, really like that a lot. So I'm gonna have to use that more often when I play Nemo. And I also have to learn to be more aggressive with my jacks. I do hold back too much. I realize that. Death has said it. Excuse me, other people that have watched the games that have War Machine experience have said it. You hold back way too much. You've got a lot of power there. You need to use it. I just don't fully understand how to use it yet. But they're right. I need to learn to be more aggressive. I need to fire them off, faster and not get bogged down by infantry so easily. Nemo's extra focus ability is nice. I might stick with the old man for another few games because I actually am really starting to like Nemo a lot. And like I said, understanding how this game works, I'm starting to figure it out. Mastering it is going to take years, and that's exciting. It's a huge challenge. It's a lot of fun. I love my jacks, love them, and it's exciting. And you know what? I think I'm still a few weeks out from my first victory, but it's coming. I think eventually I'm gonna just get lucky and win. So. I'm excited. But again, this was an outstanding game. This is a pivotal game in my mind because things are starting to make sense. Things are starting to click, and that's exciting. It's nice to know that I'm, or at least it's nice to feel that I'm figuring this game out. So that's exciting. Outstanding opponent. Couldn't ask for a better teacher than Death Holy Death. And I actually want to play right now, and I can't. But I do. I want to go to a game store and just at least watch a game. I need a fix. My teeth itch. But yeah, that's going to do it for this battle report, guys. Number 4 for War Machine Hordes. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. Thanks!